Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to go over painting your rifle. I recently painted my Scar 17 in this tiger stripe woodland. Really pleased with how it came out and got a lot of requests on how to do it. So we're just going to give you a rundown real quick. It's a little simpler than you think. Just tape and paint, honestly. But yeah, obviously you can't repaint my rifle, but my brother is getting into guns and bought himself an AR-15, so we're just gonna paint this one, see how close we can get it to the woodland tiger stripe that I did. We're down here in Louisiana, so woodland is a pretty good camo scheme, right? Why are we painting our guns? To camouflage them, of course. Black or this is very defined shape and it's gonna stick out in the woods. We wanna kind of break that shape up. But again, down here in Louisiana, we have a lot of different colors, green, obviously everything in woodland, green, black, brown, and tan. Kind of changes depending on the seasons. Obviously it's summertime right now. Things get very green because it's just raining all the time and it's really hot. So as we get into winter, the leaves are going to die off and stuff's going to start to get brown, and then we have a lot of mud that's dark brown or black. So woodland does work very well here year round. Multicam tropic would work pretty good in the summer just because how green it is here. And then of course, if you want to do something like multicam, obviously they designed that to work in a variety of environments through a variety of seasons. So, but M81 woodland is some of my favorite camo here, so that's what I went with, and it works well here. So first off, choosing your paint. We just got the Rust-Oleum camo. You don't want to use anything that's going to be a gloss or semi-gloss finish, because after you're done with it, it's going to be pretty shiny. So if you can find the camo at the store, it's already matte, it's already flat, you don't have to worry about it shining. Rust-Oleum or Krylon works great. It doesn't really matter the brand. Next off, you're just going to want to tape up whatever you don't want to paint. Obviously, we need to tape up things that we need light transmitted through, such as scopes, red dots. You want to tape up any markings on your optics that you need, such as magnification levels, adjustments, parallax. If you have the numbers on the pick rail up top, that's up to you if you want to paint over them or not. Some people like to have those numbers there for reference so they can put their optic back in the same place that they took it off. And then of course, any muzzle device that you're going to be using for a suppressor, you're going to want to tape off because you don't want to mess up that interface of the suppressor and the can. Could throw a point of impact and maybe cause a baffle strike or something like that. And then my brother does have a mod light on here, so of course we're going to want to tape up the lens on that so we can get as much light transmission downrange as possible without blocking the light. It's pretty common sense what to tape up. Tape up what you need, like I mentioned earlier, any optics or lights, but don't get caught up in taping grips or triggers or the gap in between the receiver. It's really not a big deal, not going to affect the function of the rifle at all. And things like on the grip, the stuff's going to wear off eventually, right? We don't really want any safe queens of our rifles. We want to use our gear and get out and train with them. So the paint job will wear over time and give it some character and prove that you actually use your gun and you're not paying for that battle-worn Cerakote. All right, so first things first is prepping the gun. Some people will spray it with brake cleaner and try and get all the grease off. I'm not too worried about that. All I care about is taping up things that I don't want to paint. Even though this muzzle brake isn't, gonna host a suppressor, I'm still gonna just tape it up. There's honestly no reason, but you could totally spray paint this. If you had like an A2 or something, didn't really care. You don't have to make it look pretty. You just have to tape it up so paint doesn't get in there. We'll go tip to butt on this one again. So moving from the front, we have our mod light. We really don't want to paint that. So we're just gonna throw some tape on there. Instead of cutting little pieces, I just kind of dig my finger in there and make sure it's pressed up against the rim of the bezel there. So I know for sure that no spray paint's gonna get in there, and then I just kind of rip off the extra. It's a little faster way than trying to shove little pieces of tape in there. And I haven't had any issues with that. Just as long as you know you can feel that tape is stuck to the end there. My brother said he didn't really care about this gun too much, so we'll paint the mod button. And then good thing on the scope is that it actually has caps, so we don't have to worry about taping up the lenses on the scopes. So on here we do have some information. We have brightness levels and magnification levels, diopter. So that's information that we want to know and are going to want to keep. So we'll go ahead and get that taped up real quick. Hopefully we can get this done before it rains again. All right, only thing left here is the diopter adjustments. Tape that up, and that is literally all the prep that you need to do. Just make sure your dust cover's closed. You don't want to be spraying any directly in the bolt carrier, but if you don't really worry about stuff, there's really not that much to worry about. There is a potential that paint could maybe get in the back of this tape switch to the lead of the light, so we'll just tape that up just in case. But normally I would just spray paint over it. Don't really care, but it's not my gun. It's my brother's gun. And yeah, we'll go ahead and get started painting. Okay, obviously you can paint this gun on the ground, just lay it on the ground and do both sides, but then you're gonna have to wait for it to dry to flip it over, obviously, unless you have like a bipod or something. So I like to just hang it up. When I painted my Scar, it was stock black, so I didn't do any base coat. I just painted it black. But since he has a two-tone, we're just gonna give it a tan base coat. You wanna Okay, what I was saying before it started pouring down raining. You're just gonna kind of want to spray lightly. If you want it to dry quicker, it avoids overspray and dripping. But if you have, if it's sunny outside and it's hot, you can just, spray the shit out of it. Just get it over with. But now, so we have our base tan down here. So the next part is really just taping it up to get that camo pattern that you want. I just rip tape randomly and stick it on there. So when you do this, you kind of have to think inversely. So you're just covering up what tan you want to keep on the gun, right? So we're going to spray this whole thing a different color. Probably we'll just do green next. So just try and think what the tape is covering up, what tan you want to keep in certain places, and then just apply tape accordingly. Yeah, so pretty simple. Just tape up the tan you want to cover. There's not much tan here in Louisiana. It is more greens and darker browns and blacks. So didn't really keep too much. It's too much tan, so kind of work lightest to darkest on the colors. It really doesn't matter. Just paint your rifle. It's not gonna matter. So yeah, just repeat the process. So once you paint tape, it's just a repeat of the process. And remember, you're covering up with tape that colors you want to stay. So here in Louisiana, like I mentioned earlier, it's green most of the time. So that's probably why, that's why we have the most tape on there right now. We're gonna keep mostly green on here. So we got the brown. Just give it a rip. And one other thing we didn't really let it dry completely, so the tape is going to peel off a little paint. It kind of gives it that sable mix look. If you ever seen a sable German Shepherd, it's kind of mixed in there, not defined, because you want to break up the pattern of the gun to blend in better with the environment. All right, last color for the day is just going to hit it with some black. At this point in your last color is kind of when you could throw in your designs and different brush, different foliage that's in your area. Like you can grab some leaves over the tree, or leaves from the trees, put that over and spray paint. A lot of people use laundry netting, grass, whatever. But I think we've kind of been rushing through this, and I think us not waiting for it to fully dry is going to lend out pretty well. It's going to give us some pretty good mixed patterns, like I mentioned earlier. So last little coat. Just hit it with some black real quick. Don't need much around here because obviously most of Louisiana is green. It kind of gets hard at the last one because everything's the same color and there's all kinds of tape. So I would leave the last color for what you want the least of. So, right, we don't want that much black. So we left that for last. We just spray paint it. We're not even gonna wait for it to dry. We're just gonna take it off here, see how it looks. But there's really no rules to this. Choose colors that match your environment. Pretty much the United States could be covered by those 4 colors in some combination. And just paint your gun and see how it comes out. If you don't like it, you can always just either strip it with some acetone or just repaint it. One alternative to using tape, obviously tape, just use it. It's super cheap. You can get it at Walmart, your local store. Some companies do sell the stickers that are like a stencil for any type of camouflage pattern, like multicam or flectarn, whatever, whatever kind of weird shit that you're into. Honestly, the hardest part is at the very end, trying to find every last bit of tape that you put on there. But I think this thing came out pretty good. No, it's not. There's not a piece. That means the camo's working. All right, folks, here it is, all done up. Looks pretty sweet to me. Got all the tape off. Does have a little bit more tan than we thought it was gonna have. So we're just gonna hit it with some more green. Easy way to fix that is just take, paper towel, cut a little hole in it, and we'll just give it just a few sprays. You could even get a brush and brush this in if you are that anal about your gun and how it looks, because it is kind of blotchy when you touch up like this, but totally up to you. It's gonna wear off eventually, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. All right, dudes, guys and gals, thanks for watching. Thanks so much for tuning in. That's how to paint your gun camo. It's really pretty straightforward. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Like and subscribe.